Suddenly there was a short sound, and a system window appeared in a purple frame with a skull that has bat wings. The inscription in the middle read briefly "The Rise of Hell." Just below the text of the system, "You are in hell." The visibility window is similar to some kind of mobile game window. Once again, another inscription at the top of the screen with a skull on the wings is a dungeon. In it, a dark-haired boy with disheveled raven-colored hair is sitting in front of me, and a name with some strange scale is highlighted next to it. Kim Kwon 100%. Ha. A window appeared with a remark and a postscript: "To whom they belong, Kim Kwon." Ha, what nonsense. Where am I? He was puzzled and began to look around. Lee Yoon? His remark changed again and he turned his attention in my direction. "What the fuck are you doing, you sick fool?" He cursed and jerked violently. He leaned on this panel and his gaze was full of panic. "What's it?" Kim Kwon's remark changed. "What kind of addiction?" "Gone dick." Suddenly, his face became as close as possible so that it was possible to see his eyeballs up close and a reduced pupil. Maybe the window of his remark has changed again. "Will you stop fooling around and get me out of here, huh?" He screamed with all his might. His eyes were running around the white of his eye in panic, but he still pretended to be a demanding tough guy. "Do you really want to make your miserable life even worse?" The text of his remark changed again. "So it's not a problem for me to finish off trash like you." The boy had already begun to threaten, and I reached for one of the labels of options for actions in a ready-to-bite horned imp, and it turned purple. The smiley face in the form of an imp burned with a bright purple hue. And then it was replaced by a panel. This panel seemed to be options for punishments for something, well, or just like that. A glove similar to a boxing glove, a pen that seems to click on something, a hammer, a chainsaw, a drill, a stationary needle, a knife, an iron, a snake and a spider. The rest of the icons are unavailable and blocked. I clicked on the hand depicted. A hand appeared, clenched as if in a moment she would give a snap to her victim. The screen showed as if the boy was slapped hard in the face, and he staggered, coughing. He was looking in my direction with fear, and his eyes were running around in panic. He felt the pain of an abrasion on his cheek, but he was afraid to touch it, although he moved away. There was a postscript visible to me next to it, "Fear +10, and the icon with the devil was still burning. "What?" the kid muttered, not expecting such a turn of events. "What the fuck? What are you doing, you fucking asshole? What are you doing?" And he was indignant louder and louder, moving away from what had happened. I pinched his image at the neck level and pulled it higher, but it played a cruel joke and began to strangle the guy, lifting him higher from the floor. "Enough." He stuttered, and threads of capillaries appeared on his eye whites. A little more and he started coughing, trying to somehow grab onto the something that torments him so much. I let go of my toy, and the scale of the boy's life went down from 100% to 75. I watched him, and the replica in the system window changed. He cleared his throat on his knees and stammered what. He raised his head and I saw a face disfigured by a little blow. The cheek was swollen, the hairstyle was crumpled, and the capillary nets did not come off the whites. Kim Kwon is holding his neck, and you can see how his body is shaking after what happened, but his gaze was full of anger that was directed in my direction. "What? You. He kept repeating, already almost drooling with his anger. "Wait. No. Lee Yoon." He spoke haltingly, as if he felt that my finger was reaching for the icon with the devil again. The window of torture unfolded again on my screen and for a while I was puzzled what to choose. The remark in the window changed again, and my gaze fell again on his displeasure. "Hey. Wait. Stop." He was shouting as if he was trying to stop me. "Fuck, no, wait." But my finger calmly rested on the chainsaw icon, and it turned purple. The chainsaw icon glowed under, turning purple. There was the sound of a motor, and Kim Kwon stuttered when he heard this sound. "What the fuck? No need." He shouted with all his might, hoping that it would somehow save him, but it was in vain. "Leave me alone." He shouted intermittently. And then he just screamed at the top of his lungs in pain. "Enough." Stammering with the last of his strength, he shouted and decided to beg with the last of his strength. "You are welcome. You are welcome. I beg. You are welcome," he said in a fading voice. 15 years. Black and white colored news is being played on the box. On the left, a photo of a thin man with a not particularly pleasant expression appeared in the corner. At the bottom of the screen there is a long strip of the whole essence of this news. Urgently. The case of the murder of Mu Huandong. Lee Junyoung was released today. The father of the family was killed, mother committed suicide, and their remaining child said, "I want this killer bitch." The man looked into the refrigerator, examining the products on the shelves with a cursory glance. The man took something out and sat on the floor leaning on the bedside table. He opened something and immediately began to eat, still leaving the refrigerator open. The photo standing further away on one of the shelves shows two boys, one of whom is wearing glasses and a baby boy standing between them. And his whole bastard family. The boy was holding an already prepared rope lasso in his hands and wanted to do like his mother, hesitating and crying for a long time. Burned in hell forever. His body hung like a sack of potatoes, and after a while it became surprisingly light than before, as if the bag was emptied pretty quickly. And the man was still sitting in the kitchen, continuing to consume food. The story that begins now, it was a clear day without a drop of clouds on the horizon. It tells about the son of that murderer. My left cheek was sore from a fresh blow. Another blow, now symmetrical. Nothing to say. My name is Lee Yoon. Comment from Kim Lara. 2 months ago. It pains me to hear that the victim's family commits suicide. I hope the fucking killer and his family live a long painful life and then die. Another comment read die, 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 please, let them die, 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 burn alive in their dirty house, die, burned alive. Another read such garbage only consumes oxygen. They really waste it. May the dead rest in peace. Comment 9. 24. The one who was born in the same family should close his mouth and get drunk himself. A high school student hated by the whole country. You will suffer. A guy with a short haircut spoke, looking only at the screen of his phone and not looking at what was happening in front of him for a moment. How I suffered yesterday. PF, you're just wasting oxygen. Kim Kwon stood at the head of the gang and, holding me by the hair, raised his hand, clenched in his fist, in order to strike me. Me, who is practically senseless on his knees in front of him and accepts everything like a punching bag. Oxygen? Exclaimed one of the chorus with a bald, egg-like head. Oh, then you do. He thought for a while and then immediately gave it out loudly. Guillotine capture. Give it to me. You can do it, right? Have you learned how to do it? Fuck, Kim Kwon immediately exclaimed, do you doubt it? Do you think I can't? I show it only once, watch and learn. Is the special dish for Lee Yoon ready? He said, still holding my hair. And of course, the boy in a sports jacket exclaimed admiringly and with a bald head like a billiard ball. Cooked with mother's love. Grinning, he said, and let out a stingy tear. He's holding a metal tray with some nasty stuff, namely a bunch of cockroaches and a spider. Yeah, his friend grinned and turned to him, tell your stepmother again. He said and laughed again. The first ones did everything. They called it the Inferno of Faber. The bald kid spoke. Asshole. His friend spoke and laughed again. Everyone says I don't deserve to be happy. Like, this is how it should be. My pain brings joy to everyone. Well, snorted Kim Kwon in order to fit his friends, fuck, they egged me on. Suddenly Kim Kwon noticed something, still holding me under his arm. Hey, assholes, he swore, why the fuck are you filming this? Hey. What are you? The bald six exclaimed, noticing someone behind my tormentor. I tried to say something, feeling his grip getting stronger and blocking my air. My throat was practically blocked, and I was slowly starting to feel sick in front of my eyes. Hey. Hey. The bald guy exclaimed again. Sick. Put. Kim Kwon. He exclaimed, attracting the attention of the main one. From behind. From behind. From behind. Hey. The head of the sixes immediately asked. A girl with medium-length hair the color of pitch appeared behind him. She pounced on Kim Kwon, waving a plump book at the tier, while he mercilessly strangled me. And, perhaps there is one person, the book hit the bully well on the head. Who doesn't think so? Kim Kwon. One of the sixers of the main bully immediately exclaimed. Yunsoi, the bald man exclaimed, turning to the girl who appeared like a hurricane, just did not blow everyone else off their feet as well. Sick bitch. Why did you hit him with an edge? He was indignant. Hush, Baldy. Only a brunette in a uniform of a black jacket and a yellow skirt like the sun answered. Kim Kwon, on the other hand, was lying senseless on the sidelines. I gulped in fresh air and coughed as I tried to even out my breathing, but the oxygen seemed to get stuck in my throat. Do you think, since the minister's daughter turned to the newly arrived brown-haired girl right there, so she's so cool? He was indignant, continuing to express his dissatisfaction. See? Now my fist is closer to the law, so don't get involved. Yes, you're so scared, the girl immediately snorted in response, that you couldn't even hit right away. What? The guy was immediately indignant at such a statement. Do you want to see how your ancestors will lick my father's shoes? Smelly bitch. He cursed, twisting his angry facial expressions. Saki is the only daughter of an influential family. She's like a modern princess. Let's fix your goner, the Sikh said again and brought his hand up, a crazy whore. I wonder how long you'll last. He snorted. A moment later, he gave the girl a savory slap in the face with a loud slap, but the girl put her brush in time, so she didn't get in the face. Oh, she exclaimed and held out something in his direction. Come on, read it. She was holding a small spray can aimed at him with a short inscription Yun Sohee Vising, poisonous Pokemon, Yun Sohee. The boy was reading. Vising. But as soon as he managed to read it, the girl pressed the sprayer, and the spray of the substance immediately headed towards the guy. Vising, into battle. Only she spoke. Her actions are always unpredictable. The boy immediately fell to his knees and screamed, covering his eyes with his palms. Kang Chan. The bald man exclaimed, taking care of Kim Kwan. But he only coughed in response. You're crazy. The guy with the lowered black mask finally exclaimed. A means of self-defense? But the girl in response only silently showed the middle finger and took the dumbfounded me by the hand. Life is not predictable, asshole. If you follow me, I'll set the vising on you again. You. The bully hissed after us. You really need to be kicked. It was a beautiful clear day. We were still walking hand in hand along the path along a tall building with a dark brown roof. Sohee, I finally muttered, gathering my courage. After all, she is my savior and to walk in silence, such. There's a lesson going on. Shut up. She just threw back, leading me somewhere by the hand. Thank you very much for your help. Very embarrassed, I finally thanked her. But it wasn't worth it. My gaze fell on her pale hand, still in my hand. Suddenly, images of these hooligans surfaced again before my eyes and a chill went over my skin. They might come back. I said. And do something bad to you. I'm really fine. Still without taking my eyes off the intended object, I continued. Don't interfere like that anymore. The girl spun around with a dumb question and immediately pulled her hand away. Enough of this nonsense. She snorted in response. Do you think I should just watch this? Sure. I was taken aback and blurted out complete nonsense. Imbecile. She immediately cursed back. Plows. I exclaimed, still trying to pretend to be unwilling to help someone else. This is not a joke. You got hit. I exclaimed a counter-argument and immediately looked at her. But she just silently looked into my eyes, still not agreeing with my point of view. You don't have to stand up for me. I spoke again and remembered my useless existence. For everyone, what is happening is natural. Why suffer for someone like me? Before my eyes, the picture changed to how I once fell into a hungry swoon and lay motionless. And around there was a mess and piles of bottles of alcohol. After that, I remembered how I was also bullied, but by completely different hooligans, and the guys with whom we had been peacefully communicating before just passed by. It has always been so. This has always been the case, and, alas, no one can change it. I'll always be a punching bag. By this time I have already got used to it and feel almost nothing. I spoke again. So stop. I don't want you to get hurt. I muttered, looking at her blankly again. Whatever happens to me, it's none of your business. I know that. I thought, remembering all the comments in the ill-fated social networks directed towards our family. Saka's kindness is just a momentary sympathy, and the princess and the poor man cannot be friends. Concerns. Saki spoke as if nothing had happened, not taking her eyes off me. Does not concern. I repeated again. Concerns. She replied. No. Concerns, 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 concerns. It was as if her record had been jammed, she insisted. Stop it. Stuttering, I could only speak. Don't want. She said and it jammed again. Concerns, 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 concerns. No. Does not concern. I said and was about to leave in order to get away from a useless argument. I'm sorry you got hurt because of me. But I'm still asking, I said again. Just ignore me. You won't change anything. But she was still looking at me without blinking and without taking her gaze off. Only for some reason, so, Lee Yoon. She finally gave her voice. Listen here. When I hear the voice of a plowshare, I thought, I constantly have this illusion. Concerns. She spoke after me again, despite the fact that I had already turned around and was practically walking further away. Believe me, she said again, it does. I stood hunched over in silence, as if inwardly waiting for her to say something else to me. It concerns, she said. Fuck, she swore. Get ready already. Did you kill a man? She snorted, drawing a parallel. I was still silent, but she seemed to answer for me. No. Yes, you are generally a kind and sincere guy. She spoke her arguments out loud. Those words that I've never heard from anyone before. No one has the right to offend you. The thought that I'm not to blame. I thought, and tears began to appear in my eyes. I remembered my own father, from whom I had not heard words of support, even though it was my own blood. I only received blows from him in moments of his dissatisfied aggression. That he didn't choose his father, my cheek was swollen from the blow, that my eye swam a little, and it hurt a lot. I don't deserve insults and neglect, he was shouting something, and capillaries appeared on the whites of his eyes from anger. Another blow to the already swollen cheek. Another blow. Not cursed, I thought, remembering to what extent my father sometimes beat me. I lay unconscious afterwards, and tears, snot and drool mixed with blood from abrasions and nose. I can be loved by someone. And I deserve to be happy. I was still standing silently with my back to her, and tears were constantly coming from my eyes. What a presumptuous delusion. And so he feeds it. I thought again. When the clouds turned a peach shade and the sun slowly went below the horizon. Saki and I were walking home. She walked in front, and I followed her. Hey, where are you? A girl was talking on the phone. Straight home? Then grab some clothes and come to me. She spoke while I was practically following her in silence. Beautiful and comfortable, top and bottom. I appreciate Saki's concern, I thought, just. What to do next? They will definitely try to kill me. So he will also get a plow if he gets under his arm. She shouldn't get hurt. I thought again. Am I worrying for nothing? So he is not like me. Suddenly my mobile made a short sound. What? I was puzzled. I took it out and was very surprised. On top of the phone's desktop with a bunch of program icons, a system window appeared in a purple frame with a shard and wings in the middle. The Rise of Hell. The uppermost inscription read. Just below the bright purple inscription start. Just below the play icon on a purple background. Create a hell, the destroyed workshop of the devil, and get a decent reward. The inscription below read in the same bright purple font. The Rise of Hell? I was surprised at what I saw. In one of the alleys of the town, the same gang of hooligans were hanging around. A boy, a student of one of the schools, was kneeling in front of the brunette, while the sixes were chatting about something to the side. There was practically no clean place on the boy without bruises, and even more so a place without abrasions and blows that were inflicted on him. It was as if he was unconscious, having experienced a painful shock. Kim Kwon struck blow after blow, holding the victim by the hair and squeezing his fist harder on the other hand. It was as if he was using him as a punching bag and taking out his anger on him. Again, the blow and blood splatters scattered in different directions, while again staining the attacker's fist. Blow after blow, countless times. Kim Kwon, a 6-year-old bald guy, holding a phone in his hand, is calling that son of a bitch. Digress and answer. And he looked at the boss's punching bag. This one is really already dying. The main bully immediately looked at his six. His gaze was bestial, and his pupil was running around as if he couldn't focus. I don't care if I'm dying. He snorted, ignoring that his face was already splattered with blood. This jerk, he said, slightly lowering the head of his victim. There is no money, no rich ancestors. The bald man was still holding the phone in his hand. Silently, but thoughts immediately ran through my head. I'm completely out of my mind. Prick. Bitch, how scary. Kim Kwon finally let go of the unconscious body on the ground and picked up the phone. Who are you beating up again? It came from the other end of the line. And then the caller laughed. Kim Kwon, haha. Why are you calling? The hooligan answered, looking away from him in a detached way. What for? The opponent answered and laughed again. Because you're an attention deficit jerk. Don't you dare touch Yoon Soi. I'll keep an eye on you. There was a voice on the other end of the line. What? The bully exclaimed discontentedly. The bald man, having lit a cigarette, took out a purse from the unconscious boy and began to examine for the presence of money. Suddenly, Kim Kwon kicked his victim in the head with all his might. Hey, his six exclaimed, what are you doing, bitch? Fuck you. Kim Kwon exclaimed into the phone, continuing to beat the boy. Fuck you. And the bald man immediately crawled away from Sin. I won't let that bitch. Taking out his anger in the same way, the bully said. To show off further. Kim Kwon. Six exclaimed, trying to stop his boss. Enough. Stop. You're going to kill him. But he didn't stop, and the pool of blood under the victim became bigger and bigger. Pak Kanchan. Don't stand there like a dumb guy. Help me pull it away. Stupid jerk. The brunette was still indignant. Fuck. The sun has almost disappeared from the surface of the sky. Kim Kwan finally left the alley, still holding the phone to his ear. A ringing, satisfied laugh rang out in the receiver. Finished? The voice asked. Kwan, I'm on your side, bitch. And I've always been on it. What good is it for you to get involved with Yoon So-ee's family? There was a voice on the other end of the line. There's no one else, eh? Think carefully. The guy was silent at first, and after removing the phone from his ear, he spoke loudly. Lee Yoon. That beggar whore's bastard. He said, remembering the hated kid. I'll beat him so hard that his limb will fail. The picture was replaced by the apathetic face of the girl who interrupted him. And if that bitch Yun Saki shows off again, then another one will refuse, and again, and again. The guy repeated, almost breaking into a scream. There was laughter on the phone again. Now we have reached an understanding. I will, of course, take care of all the consequences. That's it, I'm switching off. I won't interfere with your fun. The caller spoke finally. I'll do it today. Kim Kwan spoke. At night. I'll beat off the idiot's limbs. I was still looking at the system window that popped up in my mobile and thought it was some kind of glitch. Just mentally flashed through my head. A game? On top of the phone's desktop with a bunch of program icons, a system window appeared in a purple frame with a shard and wings in the middle. The Rise of Hell. The uppermost inscription read. Just below the bright purple inscription start. Just below the play icon on a purple background. Create a hell, the destroyed workshop of the devil, and get a decent reward. The inscription below read in the same bright purple font. It's kind of weird. I thought, still looking at the screen. Where did the window come from? Did I click somewhere? What? I thought the same way, not taking my eyes off the bright inscription to begin, which prompted me to take action. And on the black background of the system window, ghostly palms seemed to appear. As if there was something behind him. It was as if something had appeared behind my back. With huge horns, fur, taller than me by another one of my height. It is surrounded by a black haze and someone's floating palm prints. As if they were souls trapped inside him. I suddenly seemed to feel someone's presence and an invisible touch. Fear of this unknown grew inside me. It was frightening. What? I said mentally, afraid to say a word. Suddenly. The whole body. It was as if I had hallucinations, shadowy palms appeared as if they had emerged from some barely perceptible haze. I shivered. People still live their peaceful lives, passing by me back and forth, but I can't. My body seemed to be bound by invisible chains and stole my breath at the same moment. I often remember that day even now. Although the past does not tolerate the subjunctive mood, seriously, if. The creature whose presence I felt was similar to a huge horse with thorns growing on its back, and through the chest you can see ribs and a scarlet filling haze. People were still walking by and didn't see anything, as if they hadn't seen anything at all. If the devil's app that day hadn't been received by me, here is someone crawling on the landing, and the window is covered with blood splashes. One is lying. The other leaned against a wall, which is covered with blood stains and bloody prints. Someone is standing covered in splashes of blood, and there is not the slightest clean area on the wall nearby that is not stained with brown blood. No. If I could have made a different choice. On one screen, a man was pierced by tentacles. The other is wrapped in a cocoon in the corner of the room. A special quest has been completed. Collected. Fear plus 15,000. Pain plus 28,000. Despair plus 150. Workshop improvements are available. I'm holding a phone with a bright red screen, and tears are running down my cheeks. Would he have remained human? The girl's body covered in her blood, a guy and a girl lying on the stairs are covered in blood. All this wouldn't have happened? A look full of horror. Tears are streaming down my face, and in the palms covered with someone's blood is a phone with some kind of image. After a little thought, I still reached for the bright purple key in order to start this diabolical game, which handed me a leaky lifeline. The devil's night has begun.